Thanks for joining us tonight. We are doing the inaugural, or I guess the opening, or the first actual Squad Ops podcast, Four Ops, One Couch. Tonight we have myself, Captain Morgan. We have Fire Relore. We have Frost. We have Happy
Nope.
Glamper. We have the Aussie Wookie, and then our Jamie is being done by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Culper. Thank you guys for joining us on stream. Thank you for those of you who end up watching this later on either Twitch or I believe we also have it on YouTube. So thank you guys for coming out and spending a little bit of your evening with us. Um, we're test betting this thing, so if there's some hiccups or some problems that you notice with the stream or with the camera quality or any of that stuff, feel free to let us know. Obviously, we're trying to work out some of the details as far as background images and stuff. So if you guys have suggestions of things you want to see, stuff you want to have us, try and trial, we're happy to do it. Tonight we're using Discord as our medium for getting the videos and audio and such. So hopefully the audio quality is good. If that's a little messed up or you need to hear something a little more, just turn something up. Just drop a message in chat or put a message in the Discord, and we'll do what we can to rectify that. If not for this one, for the next one. Um, so tonight, as I said, we've got four of the key members here for Four Ops One Couch. That is Ozzy, that is Captain Morgan, that is Fire, and that is Frost. And we're joined by Happy as our
Mhm.
guest tonight. During our test, we did a couple little question and answer stuff from Fire of Lore and from Frost. We're going to get to Ozzy tonight. He's going to talk a little bit about the Australian Defence Forces and his key integral part, we're going to call it that, of alcoholism. I mean, working as not a leg, but as
Mhm.
a paratrooper within the ADF. And we're also going to talk to Happy Glamper about what it's like to be a missionary for the Catholic Church in Ireland and other countries, and what it's like to be a pilot. So he is a certified, bona fide commercial pilot. He's working his way up the ranks, and we'll get to some of those questions here in a little while. If you guys have questions you do want to ask, you're more than welcome to drop them in chat. We're happy to answer them as best we can. And then, typically the tail of the podcast will just kind of devolve into general, questions of stuff that you guys might have, or just stories that we're going to tell, things of that nature. So hopefully you'll enjoy this, and we're going to try and produce these between every other week and once a month. They'll run between an hour and 2 hours long, and we're going to have a good time. Also, if you have suggestions for people you'd like to see on the podcast, feel free to let us know. Folks within the community, folks with external in the community, if we can get them on here and they want to talk about their life, their stories, their time in Squad Ops, we'd love to have them. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for being here. My fellow podcasters, I
Mhm.
guess is the term. Yeah.
Okay,
Any introductions you guys want to give? We'll start from left to right. Ozzy, your camera's gone, but you're still here in our hearts.
Frozen with
We'll
a
circle
perfect
back to
spark.
him. Fire, any introduction you want to give?
Starting a new drinking game. Every time my camera falls, take a shot. So,
Okay,
good
perfect.
luck.
Perfect. Frost?
Yeah. I don't think I have. I don't know. I don't have anything right now.
Frost just here?
I'm
Okay, that's good.
just ready
Happy,
to
anything you want to
get
say?
going.
Not just all. Thanks for having me. Sorry to be here. I realize I'm probably wore the wrong hat today Take a shot. to be the Catholic missionary guy. But
It's all right. I'll join you in our
yeah,
solidarity
there
here.
we go.
Anyway,
Even priests
Ozzy
like to smoke.
Ozzy looks like he's having some technical issues with his connection, so we'll let him sort that out. We'll go from there here in a little bit. Might have to drag him back in, or we might have to go to another channel and redo the video there, have him be the first person in, or something. We'll sort that out here in a little bit, though. All right. Well, we'll start with the questions. We'll go with Happy first, since Ozzy is is still
That
struggling with life over here.
It's the internet.
Pappy, okay, you're good. You don't have to
Mhm.
yell at me.
With the
Um,
sharks.
they're eating the data cable. Um, Pappy, can you give us kind of a brief history of kind of what you did within the Catholic Mission Group, and then kind of what you did after that, leading up to your career here as a pilot?
yeah. So I was over in Ireland mostly for about 4 years. Was working with an organization. Mainly what we just did was just like 1 day retreats in high schools was pretty much the biggest thing we did, and it was what I really liked about it was that it was very just sharing our stories and an invitation to the students, and there was very little like forcing or coercion or manipulation, that you've kind of heard of missionaries in the past, and
And
so it
the
was nice.
Catholic
It was a very
Church.
yeah.
You're
That's
not being
that's
manipulated in Catholicism. Are you really Catholic?
yeah, right. If you don't have a little
Well,
bit of Catholic guilt, are you really Catholic?
mm,
So
definitely not Irish Catholic.
yeah, right. So we did. So I was over there for 4 years. It was really cool. We got to basically how it worked is you were put on a team of like 4 to 10 people, and you lived with that group of people for the whole year, traveling around and doing retreats in different places. So it was a really neat experience. Grew up a lot, because before that I'd just been in college at my parents' house, so it was kind of a cool experience to get out on my own and do my own thing. And living in Ireland was an experience. I'm glad I did it. Never want to do it again. I would love to visit, um, but it's not America. I love America. But so it was cool. So the first 2 years I was on team doing retreats. The second 2 years I was in an office doing more administrative work, which gave me more downtime and uh, I guess technically a 500% raise. I guess when you go from €100 a month to 500, is that a 500?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a chunk
Yeah,
of
500.
cash for sure.
yeah, it's a big raise. And so during that time, I was also saving for an engagement ring because I met my now wife on my second team. Um, so that was fun being poor. But Ireland's a beautiful place, so it was really neat. And then so my wife and I got married after those 4 years over there, and coming back to the States and having about 6 months to organize a career and the ability to support a wife was interesting. I got a job as a machinist. Did that for a few years while my wife did her master's degree in machining is not working on cars, not a mechanic, machining. I get that a lot. You tell people that you're a machinist, and they're like, "Oh, what kind of cars did you work on?" Cool.
I'm not a
College,
mechanic.
yeah, college treated you great. You have no idea what goes on in the world. Um,
Well, I have a guy for that. It's all good.
yeah, right, yeah. So did that. I hate working that job. I love learning that skill. It's a really cool skill. Glad I have it. My dream is to have my own little hobby shop. And then I realized I hated my life and my career, and I needed to make a change. And I grew up around aviation. My dad's a pilot. He flew A6s in the Navy and flies for United. Been flying there for like 25 years, and so I'd always been around it. So I finally took the jump, went to flight school, and been struggling ever since.
There you go.
Yeah.
So a big jump going from working as a missionary, having a set pay that was absolutely abysmal, to making moderately better pay as a machinist, to making abysmal pay again as a new pilot, huh?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, dude. My first, it takes about a year to get through flight school, and you're not making any money during that. It was full time, and you're not making money, and you're also going, 90 grand in the hole. So it was quite pendulum swing. And in the middle of that, having we had our first kid, found out I put the deposit down for flight school, and the very next day, my wife's like, "I'm pregnant." Fuck.
Well,
And you're like, all right, cool. I just need to know how to fly out of here then.
Yeah.
Just once we're done that, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So it worked out well.
So,
Son's doing great. So
was it easier to be poor in Europe or America?
Europe. Actually, yeah. Everything is subsidized. Yeah,
Mm.
and you can walk places, so it was helpful.
Yeah,
Public
Texas
transport
is a
doesn't
little big for
suck.
sure.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
live an hour outside of town, you can't really walk anywhere.
Yeah.
Wait,
What
really.
what's your favorite story to tell about working for the Catholic Church?
We did this.
He can't tell it. He has an NDA.
It was really cool. We did. There was the bishop of the UAE, so like Abu Dhabi and Dubai, reached out to organization asking if we could come down and put on a retreat, and they were gonna have like 1,000 kids there. And one thing I'll say is, as a disclaimer for this whole podcast, is I have a stutter, so it sounds like I'm choking. That's what's going on. So they wanted me to go down and MC this whole retreat,
You sure it's
and
not the Catholic guilt? Sorry, keep
yeah,
going.
and so we go down to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ras Al Khaimah, and we went to Oman as well. And we put on this retreat for 1,000 kids, and the whole Catholic population down there is Indian because of all the migrant workers. And one thing they told us when we went down there is like, hey, uh, you know, just tell the customs agent you're coming on a vacation. You're not going down there for work because it's a federal crime to try to convert a Muslim.
Mm.
And we weren't doing that, right? We were just putting on a retreat for people who are already Catholic. But so that was a little bit of a shadow looming
Hiccup.
over your head the whole time. You're like, I'm not a missionary. I'm just here to hang out and see the sights. But the thing
Yeah.
that sticks out to me the most about that retreat is probably not the best thing to stick out to me. But it was one morning I woke up in the middle of the retreat and we were having breakfast as a team, and and they had all this food laid out for breakfast, and it was spicy curry for breakfast, and it's in the middle of the desert, so it's bleeding hot. And I'm like, this is the last thing. Do you guys just have like cereal or something? Like, oh yeah, it's over there. And I was like, okay, great. So pour myself a bowl of cereal. Where's the milk? Oh, it's in that thermos over there. I'm like, oh, keeping it cold. Great. Pour it. It's boiling hot milk. And
Yummy.
Delicious.
that's the only thing I really remember from that whole trip, was just being indignant with the breakfast choices.
Well, that and with the proper dress and attire, you passed as a Saudi Arabian to the
Yes,
point where
that's
people
true.
were
Yeah.
trying to get directions from you to the nearest mosque. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. I could pass as any ethnicity back then when I had a tan. So
Probably didn't have a beard, so they were just like, look at this child walking around.
no, I had a full beard. It
Who's your
wasn't.
guardian, boy?
It was pretty bad.
Pulls
I had
out
to
the
watch my
Bible.
back
This
over
is
there.
my guardian, and there's like,
Death.
Well, so could you do what's it called when you, communion? Could you do communion since alcohol is illegal in most Arabic countries?
Yeah, you can. But also it was there. It was legal in the different emirates. So it's the United Arab Emirates. So it's like their
Mhm.
states. And in Dubai, it's actually illegal. Obviously, if you have money, nothing is illegal in Dubai.
and
But we were
everyone has fucking money.
right. Everyone has money, so it's like we were staying in a place right outside, and it was legal there. And we're missionaries, and we had a organization rule of you're only allowed one drink a day, which was harder sometimes than other times. And we were
I'll just
we
start defining drinks differently. That's all.
A
it's
We're only
carrot
funny
having
you say
seems
one.
that
to
because
be
I had
a
a
unit of measurement. Yeah.
yeah, because I had I supervised a team, right? And and uh and one of them tattled on one and the other one for ordering 2 beers one night when they went to a bar.
What a snitch!
And
Itch.
and
Isn't that what
and
confession's for?
and me and my co-supervisor, we brought the team together and we're like, look, it's a one drink rule. Do I give a shit if you order a double? No. Just don't order 2 separate ones so we can pretend this is one drink. And then half of them were like, okay, got it. Like, shut up, got it. The other half were like, that's not fair. That's 2 drinks. And I'm like, we're giving you guys an out here, and you're not taking it. Like, shut the hell up.
You're
I get,
complaining
I
about
get
being in
3
the middle of the desert and having 2 drinks, technically 2 drinks. You would be you're not being invited to the after Christmas party. Like,
You
Yeah,
I get 3 fingers of rye, please.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
hey, here, grab us a beer glass and grab the whiskey, and I'll just tell you when.
But it was a really cool experience overall. Kids really appreciated it, and talking to like the parents and stuff afterwards and stuff. They all really appreciated us coming down there and doing something for them, because obviously they don't get many outsiders down in the Middle East who share the same faith as them. So it was cool for them to meet outside people.
Vaseline said he's seen Two Beers One Night in his favorite adult film, so there is that.
Different job,
What's an
different job.
That
what's an
was
adult
it
film?
was softcore. So surprised you saw that one.
That
It
was
was on
what's
Cinemax
before I
last
worked as
night
a
though, if
missionary.
you wanted to catch it.
We're gonna have
what's
to.
soft Catholic cool? Like, can you define that? There's no beads, it's just
Anyway,
a
moving on.
cross.
You have any other good stories from your time as a good Catholic boy doing missionary work?
Um, Goodness, I should have tried to think about this before. If you're into surfing, Ireland has some world-class surfing. Believe it or not, it's a little cold, but it's great surfing.
Hmm.
That's my advice if you're going to Ireland specifically.
Also remember,
So,
there's 2
yeah,
different
we'll
Irelands. There's
see.
North and South.
Oh well, it'll all be one day.
Yeah.
What's your favorite story to tell people about flying? What's a moment that was awe-inspiring or funny or any of that stuff? You've been doing it for a little while now.
Doing it for a little while. I'm doing so it's one thing that people don't realize with aviation. You have to fly for 1,500 hours before you can work for the airline. So I'm building up my hours right now, and I'm doing aerial survey work, taking pictures of the ground. People pay a lot of money for that for some reason, even though we have satellites now.
I think it's cheaper to buy a plane than a satellite.
That's probably a fair point.
That's all you ask.
But funny stories, not I've had a few. Oh man, it's funny because like going up and flying, it's different than going to your office job, because we're flying little Cessnas. They don't really have ejection seats or technology in them. So when you're taking off in these planes, you're committed to landing the plane to stay alive. If that's something that you want to keep doing, you got to actually land the plane. It was just funny. The other day, I was flying from Wyoming to Denver here, and I was coming in, and it was just like inky blackness, and I'm coming in, and I'm like, I can't see where the ground is like at all. I can see some lights on the runway, but that's about it. And I'm coming in, and I'm just like, my only thing I think about was like, fuck, I probably should have gone to confession more recently.
Hmm.
But ended
There's
up
probably an app
landing
for
it
that
just
now.
fine. Yeah, just call up the priest while I'm on short final.
There,
Yeah, I got something to
is
get off
the
my chest.
Catholic Chat GPT.
Yeah, the
Catholic
Catholic
Church.
Church have modernized. They have like anime now as well. They have anime
Yeah, you got
merch.
the
Like,
anime
I'm
You
just,
got a
mascot.
weed character.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and it's just like somebody would have an old guy just like, what if we get the anime? And there's just that one young intern who's like, all right, but like this is gonna come with a couple of like
Caveats.
third party editions, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 hours after it got released. I think
Oh, absolutely. Like
it was
there are
crazy.
people who had Overwatch, like Marvel Rivals stuff, good to go within 30 minutes of release.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and I'm still believing it's an inside job. They're like, yeah, no, I've made these characters. Like, Oh no, somebody leaked those models. That's crazy. Anyway,
Didn't they
Yeah.
actually leak them?
Oh yeah,
I
the
think they
Overwatch
did.
2 characters that they were trying so desperately
yeah, like
to
encrypt
keep
them
under
and
wraps.
yeah. But then the
Immediately.
Marvel Rival one released, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is actually strangely higher detailed than usual." It's like,
Mm,
what? Some dude
crazy.
sweating as his fan box is, and his Patreon starts increasing. I don't know what happened, bro.
That's crazy.
Uh,
Anyway,
This is just for my
uh,
portfolio.
is there not there's got to be like an AI app that lets you like have a confessional. You know what I mean? It's got to be out there by now.
I mean, I'm sure it's out there. I don't know how valid that would be.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that'd be
I
cool to
do. I
see the
do know how
AI.
valid that would be.
Well, that's like that 40K stuff where you have the Skynet AI that just wants to kill everybody, but then you also have the Christian ChatGPT that also has self-awareness and half of Europe's missile stockpile, being like, I will either bring the rapture or save humanity, and everyone's like, look, we can go with the ChatGPT run by Elon or the God-fearing, wrathful Catholic Church AI that went rogue. Hmm.
And it's got everyone's secrets. That's the problem. You know,
Yeah,
you can't do anything
that's
about it.
also
It's blackmailed us.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be the other thing as well. It's like AI confession. It's just like, just real quick. You don't sell the data, and it's just like responds like,
Ooh,
no,
no.
uh,
By the way, did you
It's like
did you get that from the
it's like
terms of service?
click on the following links that you've recently looked at in the past month that, or since your last confession,
uh,
that might indicate a sin. And then the next time you log into Facebook, it's just a bevy of those same, you
yeah.
know, website
That'd
links as
be
you're scrolling through them. Yeah, that'd be
that
the
would
way to
be
do it.
a that would be a funny one. Like how there's like always you can go to like government websites and like, hey, don't take these supplements because we think they have like methamphetamine or whatever and stuff. You just go to like the Catholic Church websites. Like, don't go to these websites; they're just sinful. And like, we had the council dictate if you visit this site, it is a sin. And you just don't see Pornhub there. You're like, weird.
Huh?
Like,
Okay.
what's going on
Oh,
here?
they got that one guy who just like posts like cooking videos on there, so I guess you're good to go.
Yeah. But then you
Yeah.
see something like
Good stuff.
Wish.com's on there. It's like, what? Like, yeah, nothing can be that cheap without being sinful.
Utopian.
GoFundMe is on there for some reason.
I know Utopian saying here. He says, "Oh my God, Ozzy is bald." And then Culper
I'm very bold,
replied,
bro.
"Were you wishing there was another blonde in our Discord?" Utopian said, "You have any to offer?" Culper says, "Not in our budget here at SquadOps." Utopian says, "Need more supporters. Maybe you need Morgan to kick off his OnlyFans account." I'll have you know that the pictures for the OnlyFans account have been kind of stockpiled in Frost's upper room there where he's currently doing the podcast at, and we're just waiting to hit a total number of feet pics to viewers before he kicks that off for a subscription based service. So it'll be coming soon. Don't worry.
Well, the good thing about being
The
bold is we can do an extra life event, and we just pay to rotate my hairstyle. Like we'll just get a wig, just go from there.
the
No, what we're gonna do is we'll add a plunger for $150, and you got to just take the handle off the plunger and just wear the plunger on your head for a half a day.
Mm.
oh dude, he'd be purple by the end of that.
He's
Well,
not
isn't
purple
that like
now.
a well? I mean,
Huh,
I'm
just
well,
burn.
then it's
Um,
only because of the lock.
the next level up on the Squad Ops Patreon, we'll get an exclusive set of boudoir photos of Cap and Frost. So, um, make sure to hit that link.
So if you pay enough, it might even be together. Anyway,
Well, I
Ooh.
could trick Reddit and be like, hey, look, there's no Rule 34 of these two people together, and they'll just be like, oh, is that a challenge? And I'll be like, yeah, sweet. You've
This
played
is a
right into my trap card.
this is a great segue from being a Catholic missionary.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we went from Catholicism to anime character, and then it kind of went off from there. So,
once
you know,
again, that's the Catholic Church's fault for being like there would have been someone like, are you sure that you want an anime character? Like, yes. All right,
Oh
let
no,
me
make sure
see
you
some of
put
100%.
the.
it on the internet.
Yeah, it's like, also let me see some of the designs, and it's just like, okay,
Raincoat, yeah, raincoat's great. I like that. Shepherd crook, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I
Did
guarantee
you
you
have
what
to make
happened
them
is
No,
some
like?
but
Italian bishop was probably like, "Hey, the youth love this," or I guess they were like, "Hey, the
yeah.
youth love this," and
Yeah.
then they went to a Japanese priest and were like, "What do you think about this?" And the Japanese priest was probably like, "That's the worst idea you could possibly ever do." And they were like, "Well, you're not real Catholic, so we're just going to go ahead and make it."
He's like, I wouldn't do that, as he slides a box just underneath his bed. It's like, yeah, don't do
Or he
that.
already had it made, which is even weirder.
Yeah, well, that would actually be the better. Yeah, that would be the better one. It's like, hey, we're thinking about doing an anime. Here you go,
Yeah.
video. What do you
Done.
want? Yeah, what variant? Like, I've got this one. This is Jesus going Super Saiyan. This is Jesus in this is Jesus in maneuver gear fighting Titans. What about that one? That's Jesus not getting in the mech because he has father issues. That's a side project. Get in the mech, Jesus.
This is
Get
Jesus
in the
as
robot.
Joe Star
Yeah.
hitting the stick. He's got
Jojo
a
Jesus.
stand.
Oh,
The
what
Holy
a mixed
Spirit
up.
stand.
Jojo Jesus. What a missed opportunity.
I,
Now I can probably have
His
to have a
stand
look
is the Holy Spirit just coming up behind him.
at.
All right, now that we've sufficiently offended the Catholics and probably some other major religion, uh, Ozzy, how's Australia? Is that cool?
uh, yep. It's still
Okay.
here. It's fun because we're in that weird point now where it's like it's not spring, it's still kind of summer, so we have days where it's 30 and then days where it's just torrential rain, so that rules.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
compared to the last 2 years where the country was either on fire, which you guys now have, so we actually had that one first. That's cool. And then the country usually floods. We haven't had any of that yet. So it's shaping up to be like, oh no, because it's suspense. It's just killing me.
mhm.
Just give it a little more time. It'll be there. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm a bit like hesitant to be like, you know what, 2025 is gonna be good. If
yeah.
I say that, I
It's
feel like it's jinxing it.
been 3 weeks. Let's give some time. Let it mellow a
Well,
little bit.
yeah. Season 25 is looking pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But we don't really have. I think 2019, 2020 was the Australian season. That's where we had a lot of Australian content that went international. Yeah, we still got
Yeah.
Liam Hemsworth and well, we have the Hemsworth brothers, and but apart from that, we don't really. It's another beautiful day in sunny Australia. Hot. We had 80, 86, I think, yesterday. Too much.
Mm.
Too much.
Yeah,
And when you look
30,
like this,
30,
and you
30, 30 Celsius
yeah,
is like what, 90 degrees?
yeah. Oh, well, then it was 90 something because it was
Mm.
36. But yeah, when you look like this as well, but you're not a plant, all the sun just cooks your brain, just goes straight to the top. And everyone keeps telling you wear a hat, and you're just like, yeah, but I don't have a hat, so I just
How
wear
were
like
the
a beard.
emus?
Well, the emus is still a prehistoric bird that terrorizes us, so that's cool. In the grand scheme of things, we sort of get to say like, oh well, it's a prehistoric bird that terrorizes us, um, which is kind of better than like a tyrannical government, but at the same time, like,
I mean, you guys have both, but anyway.
yeah. But it's like our tyrannical government is like the one that's like it slips. It's like, oh, this is a bad government that happens to be tyrannical. So you're like,
That's
oh,
fair. That's fair.
yeah. But it's also worse because you're like, I want to hate all of you, but you guys are just, stupid. Like, no one seems like a villainous character with like twirling their mustache. They're just like, oh, sorry, I signed something that means that standard of living is increasing. Like, oh, okay,
Everyone's a henchman. No one's a villain.
yeah, right. Eggs are expensive. I think it was $9 the other day for a carton of 12 eggs. Not happy about that.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah, right. They tried to increase the beer tax. Actually, they did increase the beer tax, so alcohol now costs more, which is completely un-Australian. Okay. I
Yeah.
feel like the Irish are
I-
being like, all right,
Y'all
Guinness is going to
haven't
go up in price. Like, what?
y'all haven't hit the streets for that one? Gotten out the what's the Australian version of a guillotine? Like just like a
Well, we were.
kangaroo kicking you in the nuts, you die.
It's two boomerangs we throw from opposite ends, so when it connects, it slices the head off. And
Uh,
yeah,
that's so
yeah.
tight. I was thinking like a
Uh,
kangaroo kicking your head off would be pretty tight too.
yeah, I think we were going to protest. I don't know. All of Australia's on the Signal chat. I have it muted because people just keep posting memes.
Yeah.
But I think it
Yeah,
was just too
memes
hot.
are old ones.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of like the old mums learning how to use a meme. It's like I sent you a meme. It's like okay, cool.
It's a
Not quite
it's
the same.
a minion,
Mm,
and don't raise beer tax. It's my happy juice.
mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But apart from that, I mean, yeah, heck, everybody's sort of indifferent, I guess. Society, I think, in total is getting to this real nice point of indifference where no one really cares anymore about anything. It's not in the like
Yeah.
immediate circle, meh, eh.
What is what's
Mhm.
a 30 rack end up costing you guys after the
Uh,
new tax?
Probably about if
Hold
it's
on,
like
he's pulling it up on his phone. Give him a minute.
I could actually. But I think if it's like one of those like well-known beers, like a Pabst Blue Ribbon or a whatever. You know how there's those beers, there's those states drink, and that's all they do. That would probably be about $50, I reckon. Which
Whoa.
50 Australian.
50 Australian dollar dues, which would translate to like 49 or something, maybe. Less than
Nah,
that,
it's like it's like
46.
39. It's like 39.
Uh,
Yeah.
Okay,
You guys
it's
are
not
like a
that
dollar
much more
fifty to our
expensive.
dollar.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah,
Hmm.
the South Korean dollar was better than our like it was still greater value to the USD than ours. And it's like that country's getting impeached, is always on the cusp of war, and they still have a better USD. This is
Well, you
ridiculous.
don't have Samsung, so
Well,
or Sony.
Yeah, because it's really
yeah.
not the official currency of Korea. It's really just the official currency of Samsung Corp.
Mm. Yeah,
So pulling it up.
Samsung owns most of the country, so
All right, so we've pissed off Catholics, we've pissed off all religions, we've pissed off Korea
And Australians.
and Australia.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a quick
no,
question
okay.
from the
We're there
chat before
close.
we get back to the Australian thing.
It was
So
$68. I was wrong.
After Things is saying, who are the squad ops teams and what roles do they play? The production team that is. So we actually have a number of teams. So I'm gonna just read from the top of the list down, and I'll give you a brief understanding of what they are. So our admin team, so they're our administration team. They deal with primarily our public servers. We're looking to expand those into um, other games other than Squad as well. So things perhaps like Armor Forger or Armor 4 when that comes out. Games that we're going to have public servers on. So that's admin team. We have community team, which that's headed by Frost now. I used to be the manager of that team. They handle everything related to the community, so outreach, connecting with people internally, working on providing fun, entertaining weekday games for people to play, stuff like this podcast. Coordinating that stuff. They're really the glue that kind of holds all of the other teams together as well by providing kind of some of that lubrication that might be necessary when you have two teams kind of coexisting in the same space. Um, we have our developer or web dev staff. They do everything related to our bots that we use for Discord, the bots that we utilize for our public servers for pulling webhooks and things of that nature. They handle our website, all sorts of things from them. They're primarily development staff, front and back end. Um, We have our event staff. That's probably the key team that you're talking as far as production for our One Life events. So they're responsible for basically managing the teams, making sure that everyone's playing fair, and providing that immersive and tactical experience that you're looking for every time you come out for a One Life event. Our media team, they handle primarily our Twitch streams, although we've got some media team help for this podcast. We've got media team help that kind of comes across in any live stream that happens here. Um, we have our mission dev team. They're the ones that kind of curate and manage and develop new missions, as well as curate and manage old missions. So they're the ones to thank for basically the new mission profiles that you're seeing every week. Our mod dev team, Rosa and Co, they build some really kick-ass mods for our squad game, as well as we've had them do mods for Arma. We've had them do mods for um, Ready or Not. We're currently looking at some other games that they may be able to mod as well. Um, and so those are kind of those things that they're when you see like the AC 130 that we had on the recent casting that we did, the M82 A3 50 cal or A1 50 cal rifle that we had, um, just the things that you don't see in public squad, our mod dev team are the ones that put them in there. Our SOP team, that's Squad Operations Tactics and Training. That team basically gives us a baseline that each one of our players can go off of to utilize as a framework for our events and for better gameplay. And not just in squad, it's in basically any first person shooter that you're going to play. They'll teach you everything from how to be a basic infantryman, playing squad, all the way up to CQC tactics, advanced weapons and training. They'll teach you vehicle combat, all sorts of stuff. And so they're really there as kind of the mentors for new people as they come in and they want to learn how to play the game, or they're new to first person shooter games and they want to be better at it. Um, the tactics and training realm is where they're key there. Our leadership team focuses on developing our squad leaders and our commanders that you see in our events, both in our public servers as well as in our primarily in our One Life events. So they're basically there to develop each successive generation of commanders and squad leaders as they come into the game to build them into better leadership across the board. And again, a lot of that technique and the way that they do things isn't just about squad, it's about how to be a better leader overall. It can translate into life. It can translate into a lot of other games that you're playing as well. um, we have our marketing team, so that's kind of primarily the drive for here. That's headed by Culper, and we're doing things like this. So we're putting out podcasts. They're putting out cool videos. I think, yep, he linked the AC 130 video here in the SquadOps Twitch channel, and in the YouTube channel. So if you want to check those links out, you're welcome to. Um, they're basically taking all of the stuff that media team is developing and producing and building it into something a little more cohesive and packaged in a way that's a little more palatable for people to watch instead of having to watch a 3 hour long One Life event video. So they take the highlights and they'll do highlight reels, they do shorts, they do all sorts of stuff. And they also do internal and external outreach as well that kind of co-works with community team. Um, it's an amazing group of folks that kind of work through that. We have community engagement, again, kind of in the marketing sub team realm. Again, that's more of the internal and external community engagement side. And then we have, last but not least, the team that I manage, which is the HR team. And we deal with all the staff stuff. So if you're interested in becoming a staff member for SquadOps, um, if you're interested in helping work on this podcast or work on the One Life events, pop in our Discord. Culper, if you can, just drop a link in the Discord and drop a link in YouTube. Um, Hop in there, fill out a staff application, and come join us. We love like-minded people. We love having people available to do, um, all of the bevy of different activities that we have here require personnel to handle that, and um, it's sometimes a thankless job, but each and every person that contributes is an amazing person in and of themselves for the ability that they have to contribute to the community. So again, thanks for the five guys that are on here tonight in the podcast. Thanks for taking 2 hours of your life out of your time out of your life to hop on here, show your faces, tell some stories, and kind of push some more of what Squad Ops is and what it means out to the community, because we're not just a gaming community. We're not just this closed server community event focused on immersion and tactical gameplay. We're all real people too. And so
We're
kind
a
of the focus
family.
point of we're a family, like Olive Garden. Um, we're all a group of people. We're all functional real life people that have lives and have different things that happen to them on a daily basis, good and bad. And we're here to help support each other and get each other through this thing that is called life by playing games and being a community together. So that's kind of what this podcast is about, is just kind of putting faces to names and getting people to realize that behind that gamer tag are real people. And we're just a group of guys and gals, and they thems and whoever else, just like everybody else. So thank you guys for that. Thank you, Drafter, for asking the question. I
And
appreciate it.
just like Olive Garden, we're also high in salt.
That's probably true, except for Salton Man is currently fixing his trailer right now because he keeps having blowouts for his water line, which I find rather funny because I told him he was going to have more yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, After things, the commenters are great, and also like those games where we follow a squad member, you get a really good feeling of the comms. Yeah, man. So the squad member games, those are our first person views. I do a lot of those. B card does some of those as well. And it's mostly when, I'll be honest, when we want to just play the game. We don't want to have to commentate, but we want to have some sort of record of what happened. So I'm glad that you like them. I'm glad that someone finds them entertaining. Uh, Joe wants to
But
start an underground barbershop quartet team. Okay.
mhm.
That sounds like a
Interesting. But I'm
project
down.
for Joe Violence, for Utopian,
Uh,
and Whiteside. So you guys will just need a fourth. Fire, are you going to join them with your beautiful singing
yeah,
voice like
I
an angel?
dibs. I called
Okay.
I called dibs on Alto already.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So that's four of you.
That's what. Yeah,
So
I think
perfect.
Utopian's gonna be baritone. We'll see.
Yep. Yep. So you need a bass. I don't know if Joe's got it in
Mhm.
him. I don't know if his voice will go that deep, but I'm sure
That's
you'll
fine.
figure it out.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Maybe
have some
Frost.
tryouts.
Frost has your singing
Um,
voice.
Uh,
I feel like Lemon would be good for that.
hit me with a quick me.
Perfect. Oh, all right. Well, we'll go back to the Australian menace that is Aussie Wookie.
I mean,
You got a
Looks like you
that.
cat,
have a
buddy?
friendly cat in your lap now. Are you still house sitting, or
Mm-hmm.
is that your cat you have in
Mm-hmm.
your barracks room?
Nah. Yeah.
that cat does not want to be held.
Yeah, but he's a little bastard and wakes me up at fucking 2 a.m. being like, "Oh, can you feed me now?" And I'm like, "All right, fine." After like giving him like a leftover like turkey like leg, who he devours, and then at 2 a.m. pour a little bit of the thing in. He's like, "Nom, nom, I'm done. Let's go back." Oh
Checks
my
out.
You
god.
can't give in.
Yeah.
Once you give in, they know you'll do it.
But yeah,
Mm.
it's yeah. It was funny because he was like he bites and scratches me. I went to work and
Mm,
they're like, "Oh, what happened to you?" Because I had like scratches on my neck, and I was like,
Ripper.
"Nothing, nothing." Playing it off, and then in reality, I'm like, "Motherfucker."
Hey, Doctor, thanks for coming out for however long you were here for. We appreciate it, brother. Um, Love to have you around. If you ever want to join the community, feel free to hop in the Discord. We'd love to play games with you. If you even can't play games, you just want to hop in and chat and hang out, you know, do that, man. We'd love to have you around. And thanks for watching from the UK. We got a lot of guys from the UK in the community. I think we're like 13% of the community or some ridiculous numbers from the UK. So
Yeah, we gotta get
it's
those numbers down.
Thanks for
It
another
goes
Rich.
up. It goes
Uh,
up if you
Safe
include
travels, Joe.
Commonwealth countries.
that's very true. Yeah.
Uh,
Safe travels, Joe. Whiteside's question: favorite moment from the community in the last 6 months. All right, Happy. What's your favorite moment from the community in the last 6 months?
Last 6 months. Um, probably the way the community came together with Liberal, going through some tough times there medically, and just the way the community came together on that was brought a bit of a tear to my eye. It was beautiful.
Amen to that.
Scrappy.
Yep, same with Screv. Frost, what's your favorite memory from the last 6
Yeah,
months in the
damn it,
community?
man! I was gonna go with the liberal as well. I'd have to
Mhm.
go. I have to go with the recent main trip we did a couple weeks ago. I think that was a highlight of my last 6 months here in the community. Meeting a lot of good people in person again, or for the first time. That was great.
Alright. Fire.
Main trip, specifically your existential crisis in a grocery store. Late in the afternoon.
That's fair.
That's what
That's
that's for.
fair. I hate you, but that's fair.
It was a reasonable question. All right, I don't know why you're.
We can get into the existential crisis here in a minute. Ozzy, what's your favorite thing that you've experienced with this community in the last 6 months?
Mine's a bit of a wild one, but Lemon made a outstanding, uh, very wild comment about certain games on Steam that we all know that are generally on the low end of the cost and have certain tags in them. He made a comment that one of these games had a better story than Red Dead Redemption, which is insane. And then we had proceeded to play the game and like stream it like for it would have been easy about 4 or 5 hours. And at the end of it, with the complete objectivity of being like, all right, I now have experienced a version of this game. Granted, there are multiple playthroughs that can be achieved. He was still adamant, but yeah, the story is better than Red Dead, right? And it's like that is delusion that I haven't heard in years. Um, I think that's the best because it was a character defining moment. That now, even if I play a game that I enjoy and I think is great, if he's like, "Yeah, I think it's really good too," I'm like, "Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about." Yeah, that was. I think that's definitely been my favorite.
Dude,
Yeah, and he stood by it. He stood by it.
I had a
Well,
friend
you
who
can't say that. At least he didn't switch up. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Look, I mean, he's a
he
man,
stood
man
up.
of values. You know, they're wrong,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
They're wrong. You know,
Yeah,
I
We
had a friend
listen.
who
We
you can
don't
have a hot
judge.
trash opinion. If you stand by it, you know, I'll respect you for it.
yeah, yeah.
Not your opinion,
You
but
just
I'll respect you for staying with it. You know.
yeah, and now when Secret Santa rolls around, if I get him, I'm like, oh sweet, I could spend $7 and buy some of the games that are always on new and
Mhm.
trending with certain
Yeah.
tabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's like I had a friend who said that the movie Jupiter Ascending
Mm,
was
yeah.
his favorite movie and also one of the best stories in all of film. And
Yeah.
this is great
I
'cause because then I just knew I just didn't have to trust any opinion that man
yeah,
held
yeah.
ever again.
Uh, uh,
You, he's off. He's cut off. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he actually ended up
Um,
being ostracized from the friend group later, so it was great.
yeah, yeah.
Other reasons,
It
but you know.
Yeah, of
Oh.
course. This is also like one of those things with Lemon. This is like, yeah, like you've now led me down this like I wonder what else, right? But I don't want to ask those questions because it's like, oh look, I've already degraded my opinion. I don't need confirmation.
Do you want to open
Um,
Pandora's box on that one?
yeah, yeah, exactly right. I don't know if I'm
Here's
allowed
your
to mention the game in the podcast just because we're trying to keep it PG, but
We can bleep it out.
yeah, yeah, well. I just won't. I won't go. I'll tell you what. If you go new and trending, you know, we all know you scroll only so far down before you find one of those games, and you're like, all right, well,
well,
that's
well,
NSW, and
well,
yeah,
Ozzy, it's called. All right. So
I
if you
haven't heard
got
that
that,
one yet.
you'll know what it
Yeah.
is.
Search that.
yeah.
Search that in Steam, guys, and yeah, you'll get it.
Or just look for Lemon, and he's probably 100% of the game, and he'll have the achievements.
There you go. Yeah.
Send a message, say, "Hey, I heard your opinion shit. Let me figure it out. Look about it myself."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Jamie.
for anybody watching, like, and we need to say, it was like sitting through a 6-hour PowerPoint presentation that tried to like get you into a state of like, isn't this sexy? And you were just in a state of inconvenienced of like, I know you're trying, but like, you
So the
know,
opposite of being
I
turned
mean,
on is just
PowerPoints can be pretty
okay.
hot.
it would
You
be
have never
Rune,
been in the military, anyway.
Yeah.
it's like
Rune
going.
What's this?
YouTube.
What's
Shout
this
out.
slander I hear going on in chat about? My favorite moment was hearing Morgan rage during Rainbow Six Siege. All right,
He's
what's
never
that,
raged.
Jamie down there, Culper? Hmm. Mr.
That's
Controller of the
vague. That's too vague.
SquadOps Twitch.
Yeah.
Hmm. You gotta unmute now.
Morgan is too blasé to ever rage anything.
Well, I think
I
you
don't
gotta
know.
It's
I
like,
did have a moment where somebody TK'd somebody else, and I killed the last
Hmm.
person on top of the staircase while I was on the phone trying to drink a drink and kill the person at the same time, and I got yelled at for missing all my shots. I did kill them. I did kill them, but he was a little nervous there. I'm assuming that's the one he's referring to.
yeah. No, I
You
mean, like, I
son of
don't
a
rage. I usually don't rage. Morgan doesn't usually rage. I think we're pretty chill guys.
fire. Has a love-hate passionate relationship with video games. The more
Well,
they
yeah.
enrage him, the more he plays them. We'll
Mhm.
take most recent example being this new Chinese video game
Oh,
called Delta Force, where last night not only did he yell at the enemy team, but he also yelled at Happy for missing a
the
guy that was
revive.
Just
prone next
once.
to him.
Just
Oh.
once, you
It,
know.
it went for about 15 minutes. It went, you kept referring to
No,
it like, I can't believe you missed a guy laying down next to
I
you.
did not. I said,
Did
"Hey,
you
he's
see
right
him
there
through your
beside you.
mustache?
Why didn't you call him out?" And
I don't think you get to like
he's
criticize
not
Fire after
human.
you made him relapse on War Thunder. Like, I don't think you get to be like, yeah,
To be
this guy has a
fair, he
video
took
game
advantage of me.
problem, and I fucking gave him the fix for it as well. And then I
War
got him to
Thunder. It's fine.
relapse.
Listen, he hasn't spent
Well,
any money on War Thunder. You're the one that got him
He got me
involved in
drunk. He took
this
advantage of me.
Chinese
He got me
knockoff
drunk.
of Battlefield called Delta Force, right? You're just
Yeah.
pushing the heroin down his throat. I asked him the other night, I was like, "So have you spent any money on War Thunder?" He's like, "Well, no, because I'm spending all my extra money on Delta Force, buying
Oh,
skins."
come on. I've spent like $6 on Delta Force. It was nothing. I bought the battle pass because I had unlocked everything already.
I
which
can
is a
stop
fair
whenever
thing
I
to
want.
do.
It's a free
Yeah,
game. You know,
yeah.
I don't feel bad
That's
for
what I did.
$6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's not buying the
Just
$300, well, the $28 paid skins that are like,
There's like $50 skins in that game. It's insane to me.
yeah.
And then I realized that I play War Thunder. You spend $50 on a online tank skin. So I mean, who?
Honestly, the
let's
only
segue
Yeah.
from that into how much money Ozzy has spent on a certain Robert Space Industry game. Ozzy, how are you dealing with that, by the way?
Oh, sorry, you cut out. The internet just dropped that random question. It's crazy. I was
Must
actually
be
going
the
to say
sharks.
I'd
Sharks,
spend more
man.
money on Delta Force if the UI wasn't so garbage and I could get to
Oh
the
my god,
paid
it's so
stuff.
bad.
What is that
Yeah.
about
That
free to
UI
play
has got to be
games and
some of the worst
UI?
I've seen. I thought Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the newest one, was bad. You know, going through 6
Yeah.
screens to get anything you want done. This Delta Force is basic game.
So my theory is that they do it the same way that, like, obviously, you know, people like big flashing lights, right? But you can't have them back to back. You can't, like, it nulls it out. So if you have to go through 3 windows to get a flash, you're like, oh, cool. But it's like, if you just went flash, 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 they just have to put a schizophrenia warning up and a seizure warning. That's it. Well, it's
I
like,
just
all right,
want
I
to
need
be
you
able to
to.
go back to the menu after it's done playing the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And
I
it's like, it's 7 menus. You've unlocked a new gun. You click on the wrong thing, then you have to watch a video of a knife that you don't own or care about, to
Yeah.
then get out of
But
that.
now it's Now it's
You've
some
redeemed some coins
video
and you
about
forgot
a
what you were
scam.
doing. Yeah.
I just want to know why they couldn't have created a UI where instead of having to click on each individual event like button, that I could just click on a button that says open all and then it just gives me everything.
Oh,
Instead of having to like
Yeah.
click through the UI and then click through the
Gotta
UI
go
and
to
then click through
each
the UI. And there's like 8
individually.
tabs and 4 separate things on each. It's just, I don't know. I just
yeah.
want a button that
The
says, you've won here. Click this button for
yeah.
upgrading.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Now
Yeah.
they've unlocked like a new gotcha system for like a card
Oh
unpacking, like
yeah. It's like
for
Chinese New Year cards or something,
yeah,
and so it's another thing to do that has another
Mm.
window to unlock with 2 different premium cards. Like, oh my god.
yeah,
If anybody's playing that with controller, they must be fantastic at fighting games to remember the combinations to get to a loadout. Like,
yeah.
What I don't get, because I think it is a free to play game issue, because the finals, another free to play game that I play, is the same. It's the same way. The UI is as confusing as possible. I wonder if it's like they think we'll pay more money for stuff if things are worse. I don't know if that's their logic.
I wonder if
I
it's
think
like a screen time or like a time in game time type of thing where
Oh, I
the
wonder.
more
Maybe
mini
that
tab
metric
you open,
helps.
the more time in game you spend. They have that as a metric to show their manager or whatever.
The
that
more
would
button
make
presses.
sense if you were always given the store, and then from the store you had to go to your main, loadouts and everything. But it's like there's your
Yeah.
loadouts. You want to get to like the next screen, and you have to do 5,000 things. But
Hmm.
like in positive for the game, if you boot it up and you want to play, you boot it up, click the thing, go play. It's like, all right, cool. Um, I think it suffers from that fact that it's like an Asian kind of game that is free to play, trying to do not gotcha mechanics, but like they obviously they want to make money, so they do 50 different tabs that all have paid currency. Because I think there is like 4 currencies. There's like silver that you use in the
There's like
operations mode.
6.
Yeah, there's like
If you if
silver,
you if
the
you count the
merit
ones in operation
stuff.
too, it's even more.
Yeah, it's
What
just a
is
lot.
what is a gotcha mechanic?
Gotcha
Like
mechanics.
pulling cards.
Yeah, so gotcha games were around before EA decided to do loot boxes like crazy. But this was back in like the early 2010s, where a lot of those games were sort of locked to Asia servers. Black Desert's a great example. Black Desert is an online game that became super popular in.
How much time did you sink into that game, Ozzy?
I didn't think any. I'm not a fantasy man.
Mm.
I'm a
And
mad, driving tanks,
the
flying spaceships for too much money that aren't animated.
$5,500 into Robert Space Industries. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't that much, at least not initially, but it got away from me.
Started out really, really low.
Started
Well, it
out
was
for the
just
low price of $35.99, and then he bought a. What did you buy?
Polaris.
No, I don't know. What's the one that you bought that you can't even fly yet?
That was the Polaris at the time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So I think that's like $800. But before that, I bought the Constellation, which at the time was like the most expensive, next to like the Frigate, which was like $6,000 or something stupid. It's like relax. But then I also bought like the concierge thing, which is like a monthly thing, and I was like, oh yeah, might as well, because it's like, oh, it's a monthly thing. It's like $6. That's nothing. It's like, yeah, you don't turn it off, and then you spend, it just racks up over the years. You're like, oh
Yeah.
shit. And then
When
when
you're
you're
playing at
just
50
young,
miles,
dumb, and you have money, like people went and bought like cars with high interest, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna be a nerd, and I bought a new PC. And I was like, well, what should I play at this new PC? Star Citizen. Oh, that's a cool spaceship where I have enough friends to use it, where it's not, inconvenient. I don't know 200 people to man a frigate. I know about 9 dudes who could probably get around manning a little frigate, a corvette. Yeah. I
Fair
think out
enough.
of those 9 people that I knew back then as well, I only like talked to 3 of them now.
Yeah, and every time I mention playing it, you just kind of slump deeper further into your seat, which is a little depressing.
Yeah,
Like,
and
hey,
every
I
day.
bought this thing
Yeah.
here.
Well, I keep downloading it every now and again, and like I have the launcher and everything. I'm like, yeah, sweet, and then I get ready to hit install, and it's like X amount of space. It'll take this amount of time, and I'm like, I can't come home and be like, I wonder if that game that I spent too much money on is downloaded yet. Oh, it is. No, delete. I wanna play Armor instead or something. I know I need to download a new. I need to download a new mod for Warhammer. Sorry.
All right. Circling off to a different topic, so we're not picking on Ozzy so much. I know Happy's enjoying the shit out of
We can
this, but
start with
Frost, what is the dumbest thing you spent money on in your entire life? What's the dumbest thing you spent money on?
Oh man.
A woman.
No, no,
His wife
no.
is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, no.
I
Even
didn't say his wife.
before her, I feel like I made smart decisions there. Um, Damn, the dumbest thing I spent money on.
definitely not
guess
Do you want me to tell you?
consider
guess
your
Do you want
no.
me to
So
tell
I
you
boss
think
what
fight.
it is? I can tell you what
sure.
mine is. I can tell you what mine is, and then that'll give you time to think about yours. How's that
No,
sound?
I have one now. I have one now.
Okay, go
So,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
um, I I was stationed back in Fort Stewart down in Georgia, and I had a Dodge Dakota, little truck, and I got an oil change, and they're like, "Oh, you should get an engine flush and the transmission flush," and I was like, "Sure, sounds good. Why not?" So I know you're already shaking your head. No, it gets better. It gets better. It gets so much better. So I get all that done. I spent probably, God, I don't know, 400 or 500 bucks or something, and got done at the dealership, driving home, went past another dealership, and they had this beautiful black Dodge Durango, and I was like, huh, wonder how much that thing costs. So 30 minutes later, I drove a Durango home back to the barracks.
Hmm.
After
Yeah,
spending five hundred
that was
dollars on an
that was
engine
fucking
flush, and
stupid. Yeah,
oh,
Oh,
that
okay.
happened.
that engine flush stuff is such a scam. It really is. No one should ever
Listen,
do that.
it's
But it sounds so
my
good.
It
Hey,
sounds
Lemon.
good. You're like, oh, I'll clean up all the oil and residue. Like, yeah, it's
well,
built
it's
up over time. It's fine.
so I don't know.
Most of the
So
time.
I got my wife a Ford Maverick, a little truck again. It's a
Mhm.
hybrid. I got that for my wife after deployment, and uh, Morgan, you have a Ford as well. So you get when you buy a new vehicle, you get these like reward points you can use for like oil changes and stuff, and basically you get enough points to get 2 oil changes for free. So I was like, okay, great. So I schedule an oil change for my wife, and she goes and this was while we were in Maine, so I wasn't home. So she gets an oil change, and they suggest, they suggested something for her because it had hit the 10,000 miles, and she's like, okay, sure. And it's like, do you want to use the points? And like, oh, there's points, yeah. So she used all the points we had plus spending another $150. And it was another one of those things. It was like an engine flush. Like it wasn't an engine flush, but it was something like it that was just
Mm.
completely unnecessary. And I'm like, I
Yes.
come back from Maine, and I'm like, okay, well, there goes the two free
There
oil
goes all my
changes.
points. Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome, good stuff. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we had a
spending a lot of
sorry.
money on my truck and then trading it in immediately after, that was pretty fucking stupid. So
Mm.
yeah.
Did you try to use that as a reason to get a better price for it? It's like, oh man, maintenance is great. I even just had the engine
Oh,
flush. It's
they
perfect.
don't care. They don't care, man. I had
They just laugh. You had a what?
An engine flush? Oh,
well,
this
no,
guy's a
because I had
sucker, dude.
so one of the better
Going to
trade-ins I had
undersell him.
is I had a VW Jetta, and I had to go somewhere on base, and there was this parking lot, and there was one of those like metal wires like strung across you. You can't drive in it, but there was nothing reflective on its wire, so I didn't see the cable.
Mm.
So I drove my
Mm.
Jetta right up under that wire, went up the hood, the windshield, and the whole roof. I
Uh,
looked at it, and it was just all kinds of scratched up. And this lady comes out, and she's like, oh, you can't drive in here, and I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, no
You
shit,
can't
right?
park here.
Yeah,
You
and I
can't
was
park
like,
here.
great, thanks. And it was like, who's gonna pay for this? I was like, it's not our fault. There's a sign, and I was like, yeah, but the wire is not. You can't see the damn wire. It's 6 in the morning when it's dark.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I traded that one in for my Jeep. Like it was probably 4 years ago now with CarMax, and they did not care about the damage to that Jetta when I traded in. They gave me more than what I owed on it.
Well,
So,
was this
or
back
they
during
didn't
like
positive.
see it.
COVID when all the used cars were way up?
Yeah, this was this it? Beginning of 2021, about
Yeah.
4 years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, they probably didn't care. They knew they were gonna get the money back out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a time where it was like insane. Like I think my truck right now is worth like 11 grand. I think they were offering me like 20, 23, 24. Stupid money, and I didn't
Yeah.
take it because I'm silly. But you know.
Yeah.
But speaking of mechanics, my mom took her car for inspection, and they said her left rear upper control arm was bad, and it failed inspection. And they were going to charge her $895 to fix it. Right? She took it to
Mm.
another mechanic, got it done in like $150 some dollars, like a $75 part. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, but
insane.
the
Though. It
labor,
sounds
bro. The labor.
That's all
labor,
it is.
bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta take the wheel off. You know, it's at least like $600 with the labor right there. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. I've
Uh,
had water pumps going out on my trucks, and I buy the water
mm.
pump, and I get one of my mechanic buddies. I give him a case of beer, and he'll put the water pump in for me. So yeah,
If
a lot of this
if you're
stuff.
on base, I think you can use the multiple bays in the tools,
So
can't you? I
they
know it
have
can be around here.
yeah, so they have an auto skills center. They have everything you need, and they charge like $20 an hour to use a lift. And
Yeah.
yeah, but that's also them not helping you. That's you having to know
Let's
how to
you
do
do
it.
it. Right.
Yeah, but you have
But yeah,
I
if you
think
know
you
what
can have the
you're doing.
tools, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they have all the tools. They have everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
We have a
I just
mechanic on
I'm just
base
not
that's really
getting
good.
sorry.
They'll give you a great deal as well if you just go in with cash. Just like, and it's like, yeah, say it's $1,000. Like, yeah, like we can repair this for $1,000. Like, oh, okay. And they always like look at you as like, do you have cash? I was like, yeah, yeah. Oh, we can probably do it for about 400. And it's just like, what? And like then you go to like another mechanic, and they say the same thing. They're like, yeah, we'll do it for $1,000 ish. Like, oh, what if they're paying cash? They're like, I don't know, $1,000 again, and you're like, all right, see ya. Me back to base. Here's the cash. Like, and yeah, and everyone keeps going there because they're still doing a good job. Like, no one's like, yeah, well, they ripped me off. Everyone's like, yeah, they all I have to do is pay cash, and everyone walks away happy.
Yep.
And the tax man never has to know.
And the tax man is lame. I still reckon on the taxes, they're like, yeah, it's crazy. We're a failing business.
Yeah.
It's just terrible.
We're staying afloat merely by the grace of God,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Every now and again, dude. Yeah, we're only staying afloat by dudes who every now and again give us like cash charity thing. Yeah, it's crazy. As somebody
All
like
right,
pulls up in a Lambo.
what's your bad monetary decision there, Oz? Other
It
than
was definitely it was
Star
definitely
Citizen.
Starson. I think out of everything, Starson's probably been the worst one. It was just young,
It wasn't. It
dumb
wasn't. It wasn't the chick with, I don't know, what was it? Validate
chaos.
across her chest,
No.
chaos across her chest. Okay,
She
wasn't
had
that one.
chaos across her chest and a crucifix. So it was like
Oh, so a
Do
heretic.
they
yeah.
not have the concept of red flags in
Well they do. They
Australia?
do. I mean, I've seen them.
This
But
one was a walking red flag, but it
Yes,
was
yeah.
also a green,
mm,
signal to Ozzy to
Yeah.
well, so the
enjoy a
thing is
fun
Sometimes
though,
time.
red
It's
flags
a
are
roller
a signal
coaster
of
of
Green
danger,
emotions.
signal, red
too, you know?
flag.
red flag means stand by, then it goes green, and then it says stop. So it's like in between. I don't know which flag I'm getting. Am I getting the standby red flag or the stop red flag? So
He
Yeah.
didn't know when to stop. He just kept pushing on the gas.
Uh,
And
yeah.
that's how Ozzy was born.
Apart from that, I don't think I really spent any dumb money that I was upset with. I've had shit investments, but nothing that I'm like, ah. that's gonna hurt. The Star Citizen one that hurt after like 2 years. I was like, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck did I do this? Like, even now I'm like, I should have just spent that money on drugs.
A whole lot happier.
I could have spent that money on trend and gotten jacked and started running like a 3-minute mile and stuff. Like, no. I had to. Oh hell yeah! The Polaris
No.
comes with lifetime insurance. I don't even have lifetime insurance. I don't even have even. Oh my god! When I bought a car, I didn't even get insurance for that motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
what
You
the
gotta be careful with trend though. You could lose your hair.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
It's a known side effect. Yeah.
That's the other thing. I could have gone to Turkey with that money and gotten a hair transplant because I was starting to recede
And
at
teeth.
fucking.
And teeth.
My teeth are fine,
And
thank you very much.
You could have had
Oh
money
right,
left
yeah,
over
a
for teeth
combo.
too, though. Yeah.
You reckon they have a
Yeah.
combo? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Turkey teeth and hair. I'm sure there's somebody that's done that. Maybe you throw in a little extra cash. You could have come back with a nice badonkadonk for fire as well. It would have been good. We could have had the trifecta.
No, if I had
Yeah,
spare
well,
cash, I'd swing by like Thailand or something and come home with a wife that'll appreciate my hairline and teeth.
Yeah, make sure she's a wife, not a hubby.
Yeah, well, look, as long as she doesn't have chaos tattooed across her fucking thorax or whatever, I'm
She'll
is
fine.
it
pass.
chaos with a K or with a C?
No, with the C. It was spelled correctly, but it's
Oh.
like,
That's fine.
yeah.
Chaos with a K would
That's
have been too much.
the chaos with a K and a crucifix probably actually might have been better because it's like, you have to wear those two things together. But even then, crucifix and chaos together are like, are you trying to like be edgy? Like, I don't.
Well, was
I know.
she a 40K fan?
No, actually, funny enough, she was like a farm girl, like a ranch hand kind of girl, so very country. And it's just
Okay.
like this is yeah. But then like it's weird because usually when you see like country chicks, like they're a bit thick. This chick maybe weighed like 60 to 80 pounds, maybe if it was raining.
That's like
Kilos.
girl.
Kilos.
No. Kilos. She would have weighed like, I don't know, 50. She was a thin lass.
60 to
Yeah.
80 pounds is not
No,
A
that's
thin
like
lass?
a
50
12-year-old.
pounds is like 125 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
50
Well then,
kilos is
yeah.
like 125 pounds. I'm just
Yeah.
checking.
The conversion rates are all weird and stuff. Yeah. So she was a thin lass, but she had those calloused hands. That's for sure.
Plus or minus.
But yeah. I've definitely that was Well, I thought it was funny. I definitely pissed away money on dates. Yeah, go on.
Go on, Morgan.
Yeah.
What, the dumbest? Okay.
Yeah.
I've got two. One
What's her
is
name?
because I'm dumb, and the other one was because the situation was dumb. So, the dumbest money I've ever spent personally, and it's entirely because I forgot about it, was when I was a younger man. I decided I wanted to try and put money aside, and so I bought a bunch of gold and silver and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, I don't have a safe at the house, but I was banking at Chase. I was like, well, let me just go to Chase and I'll open up a safety deposit box and I'll put it in there so it's safe. I was like, okay, cool. So I gave my now ex-wife a key. I had a key, and I opened up the safety deposit box. I put it, I don't know, $5,000 or $10,000 worth of gold in there, gold and silver, and locked it up. Went home. About a year later, I bought a safe. So I took the gold out of the safety deposit box, put it in the safe, and I was like, well, I'll just hang on to this because it's like a post office box or something. You never know when you're going to need it. I forgot about it for 10 years. For 10 years, every year in January, they would ding my card $165.
Oh.
And it was just the rent for that safety deposit box for 10 years came out before I finally took the trip because we moved. I finally took the trip 3,000 miles back to where the safety deposit box was, turned in the keys, and then shut the safety deposit box back off. That was probably the dumbest decision I made. Was that?
It's really a
Um,
dumb decision. You just forgot about it.
Yeah,
yeah, but
that's
it is
not even
pretty
close
dumb
to
though.
being as bad as mine.
It is pretty dumb though.
I mean, my
Like,
card got stolen, like whatever, misused the other day, and then I got like 9 emails being like, "Hey, we haven't re-upped your subscriptions. You want to like change it?" I'm like, "Fuck no! Why was I paying this again?" Huh.
fair enough. The dumbest decision I've ever spent money on in a situation. I had a buddy of mine that decided he wanted to start a business, and I'd already had a kind of a, well, it was more like, if you could imagine a car dealer that sells cars only to buy the newest, latest, greatest car for himself every month. That's what my gun shop was like, right?
Mhm.
So every time I would make a sale, I'd have money coming in. I would make sure the bills got paid for the shop, but anything left over, I'd go, there's twenty
Cool
five hundred
spending.
dollars left over. I think I want to order this gun at cost for myself, right? So it was like this kind of good situation, but slightly bad situation. Anyway, I had a friend of mine who decided he wanted to try and get into like the self-service car washes, the ones you drive through and you run a credit card, you pay cash. He found a guy that had a car wash for sale that was like $110,000. And he wanted to go in half with me and half with him. Then we'd split the profits at the end of the month. And I said, it's like, all right, well, we'll give it a try. So I gave him some money. He after a deployment, he took some money of his and he put it down in this car wash. And then I had a bunch of stuff come up in my life. I started having kids, and he was telling me it was kind of working really well. And I was like, okay, well, that's great. And I was like, I don't really have a lot of time to kind of devote to this. And he's like, oh, it's okay. We're going to open up another location over here. He's like, but you're still an owner of this one. And I was like, okay. He's like, but if you ever want to buy in on another one, just let me know. I was like, okay, that's fine, but I've got, life and kids and life and all sorts of stuff and, all this stuff going on. Man, like 3 or 4 years ago, I'm I'm finally done doing civilian stuff and I'm kind of working my life out and trying to figure out what I want to do. I hit him up on Facebook. I'm to find out this guy has like 50 of those car washes now, all around the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, and he's like a multi millionaire. And if I had just stuck with him and just gave him a little more money every time he bought a new car wash or got in with him, I'd be probably in a different place than I am now. But that's probably the dumbest decision I've ever made, was not going in on this car
Not
wash
seizing the
moguls fucking
moment.
thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
That one still kind of haunts me a little bit, I'll be honest.
I get that.
I had a car when I moved back from Ireland. I was tired of European cars, so I was like, I really want a V8. I just want a V8 sports car, and I was poor, so the only thing I could afford was a 1994, not even 94. It was an 84 C4 Corvette,
Mm.
which, if you know anything about Corvettes, the 84s are like the absolute worst ones ever, because it was the first time Chevy ever did fuel injection. And the previous owner had put a carburetor on it and hadn't done any of the work to do it right. So this thing barely ran. I had it for probably 6 months. I drove it twice. The second time I drove it, it left me stranded. I sold it. I had I lost half my money on it. I only bought it for $2,500, which is kind of cool, buying a Corvette for $2,500. But there's a reason it's $2,500. And
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 7 to fucking 6.
yeah, and I sold it. Got a Miata, flippy headlights, whole 9 yards, running, driving, fantastic. I'm now in love with Miatas, and I spent way more money than the car was worth fixing it up so I could actually fit in it, because I don't fit in Miatas, so I have to spend a lot of money to custom seat racks and shit to actually fit in a Miata. The first test drive, after putting all that money into it, I wrecked it, wrapped it around a tree.
Oh my
Ooh.
god! That's not wrecking it.
Yeah, totaled it. But I didn't tell insurance about it. I just parted it out. Made more back in parting it out than I did
Oh,
in the car. God.
Now
The
every
only
time
thing,
I see an Instagram reel of someone crashing a Miata, I send it to Happy,
yeah,
just so everybody's on the same
brings
page.
back the horror. It was the worst day
Got
of my
to.
life. I was
You can do that.
so sad. But the funny thing was, is like I posted it the day before the stimulus checks hit. So then the next day, when the checks hit, all the poor Miata bros suddenly had $1,500 burn a hole in their pocket, and they wanted parts. It was great.
and
Yeah. Great timing.
you were like, well.
Look who comes
$1,000 fix the whole
crowding
car.
back.
The insurance company's like, what happened to that car? Huh? Nah, don't worry about
I sold it. I don't know what happened.
it.
Title got destroyed. It's crazy.
Yeah, we heard a
No.
rumor that it got wrapped around a tree. Well, you heard a rumor. Shut up. How about
Well, do you see any flowers? All right.
that? Speaking of
Oh.
insurance companies, I'm pretty keen to see the aftermath of this LA fire
Oh,
situation.
Luigi.
Well, I mean,
Ooh, yeah.
everyone's sort of waiting for the trial for Luigi, and they're like, "Oh, you guys have stopped talking about Luigi." It's like he's still alive. It's like
Yeah.
we didn't ask that, but you know, how's that
Once they
trial
realized
going?
that
Isn't
people
that
were
why you
actually
started a
happy
fire? So
about it,
get
they were
the
like,
news
"Oh,
away from Luigi?
we should stop.
Yeah.
Don't let him
Uh,
don't put him on TV."
Yeah. Well, like
People,
yeah, exactly. They're like, yeah, treating him like a fucking Bond villain. And everyone's like, this dude rules.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, but he's a bad person. And they're like, oh, he's a bad person,
Is
and just
he?
throw a list of bad people that they like didn't treat like, you know, like school shooters and stuff. They're like, you didn't want to do
Yeah.
any of this for them. It's like, oh,
Oh yeah, a massive purple walk that just makes him look like a
yeah,
Batman villain. Yeah.
yeah, and
People are gonna
then
hate that, guys. People are gonna hate that. Don't
yeah.
do that.
And then like the offensive legal team is like you can't just shoot a CEO, like you can't just kill somebody and get away with it. Like you can't just do that. What are you pushing for? Death penalty.
Guys, we can't murder people in cold blood.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is funny because like if they waited a little bit, like look, the government just can't kill people, and then if they waited a little bit longer, Trump gets in, sends Marines down to the border. They're like, we can't just kill everybody without impunity.
Anyway, so
Um,
my bad financial decision, right?
mhm.
Yeah. What's yours? A
Uh,
handgun that didn't taste right?
Gave his money to his sister, who then tried to.
Oh my god!
Hey, all right.
That's that has to be an episode
She tried to
with
get me to pay
pictures.
her property tax on her car the other day. She didn't realize what it was. She was like, "Oh, we have a bill. We have a bill from the county for
Oh,
$280. You want to split it?"
we.
Like, what?
Uh,
We speak in French?
uh,
It was for her car. She literally has like a 2012 like Mercedes, like coupe. Like, I'm not paying for your property tax on that. Do it yourself, you dumbass. But no, worst financial decision other than War Thunder. Um, I bought a racing wheel. I think for like way too much money. It was like the direct feedback, super expensive. I probably used it twice. Realized I didn't really like racing games, and then it sat in a corner.
That's fair.
It sat
That's
in,
fair.
sat in a corner for like 2 years. And I sold it at a yard sale for like $50.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah,
I've got some mates who are really into that stuff. Brucey's he's wicked into that stuff. He does like all
yeah,
the pro racing and stuff.
yeah. He's bigger in racing. Well, that's why he runs the F&F rallies. He's a big rally guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he does
Yeah.
rally, and then he does all like the shooting competitions, like the PRS and
Yeah. I'm
stuff
bold,
like
so I
that.
can't. Yeah. And being a bold man, you can't really be a rally guy as well. People misunderstand you.
What kind of rally are you going to?
I don't know, but does anybody have a tiki torch I could borrow? Unrelated. I'm having a backyard party.
It's the backyard.
Mm.
Anyway,
Screw you, Limit.
Really great people.
oh my God. Well,
I
gentlemen,
did sell some guns because they didn't taste right though.
we've been at this for an hour and a half. Want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Thank you guys for the good stories. Ozzy, we will get more into your backstory during
My
the next
lore.
one of these that we have coming up soon. We'll try and schedule it out for a couple weeks from now. Get everybody back in the room to chat. Happy, thank you so much for coming out as a
For
guest
having me.
on the show. Maybe we'll make you a regular if you want to come on semi-regularly. You can come in and hang out with us with your mustache. And it's mostly the mustache you're
Just
here for. It just
That's
it's just a
accents.
monthly donation.
That's the only
One monthly
reason my
donation,
wife
you can be a
likes me
regular
is
guest
anyways.
on the
So.
show.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you for the topics and questions and conversations from chat. We appreciate it. Um, hopefully we'll catch you guys soon. We've got a lot of stuff coming up this week for SquadOps. If you guys are interested in checking out our events, we have one tomorrow. It's Frozen Dinner at 8:45 p.m. Eastern time. It is Belaya versus Belaya on the map. Belaya, Russia versus Militia. And then on Sunday, we actually have an assaulter course for SOT at 2:30 Eastern, which will be a lot of fun. If you guys haven't taken the assaulter course, I recommend you do it. And then Wednesday, we've got Fallen Eagle to wrap up January. So that again is at 8:45 Eastern. If you guys are interested, go check out our calendar on our website, squadops.gg. I'm sure Culper dropped the link in there momentarily. Just be good to each other. Thank you guys for watching us tonight. We'll have another episode up for you guys soon. Have a good night.
If
Say
there's an
bye, everybody.
assault course, is there a battery course I can take?
Say good night, everybody.
Ask me.
Good
Have a
night.
good
My
one.
first friend.
Good
Thank
afternoon,
you guys.
actually. Because I'm from down under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different time zone. And also in the future.
Done? Alright, I need to take a piss.
We only get one.
Thanks for sticking it out.
We only get one racist joke per stream, so I had to cut it short there at the end before somebody else